Well, this is the final or the ultimate blast day. The beams, horizontal beams, have been constructed under two of the homes. One home with a single row of beams, one home with a double row of beams. The blast casings have been put in and all the explosives are now on the ground. We're down to the final countdown for letting all the charges off, liquefying the ground, and really ultimately testing how well these beams will perform underneath the existing homes.
The ultimate goal is to put something under a house or that we can build a house on and make sure that that it works. How does it apply? So we have a unique opportunity here in the red zone to use houses that nobody's living in.
I was sent out to select the houses. We wanted to find some that were conjoined, multi-unit dwellings, so that we had a house that we could have as a control and one that we could have as our test, so that they were same construction, same time, so we had as many similarities as we could.
We didn't even know the term liquefaction for a start. We knew it was very stony and sandy and so on as you dug down. Water tables shifted quite dramatically over all the years, but no one realised an earthquake would just turn it into jelly.
3, 2, 1, firing!
Yeah, that's the first house. Pictures of some liquefaction real quick. We're getting a lot of water and a lot of sand on the north side of 23, 1 and 2. And it's not all coming from the blast casing, some of it's in the free field. Extensive liquefaction and sand ejecta, both inside and outside the blast circle. It's now approximately 8 minutes after the first shot went off at house 23. Still pumping, hasn't started dissipating yet. So this is causing settlement. The ground's going down as we speak. So our first impression, I think, today is that everything's gone quite well. We've seen a lot of surface expression of liquefaction again. We've used the additional explosives deeper to try to really stir things up. I think it's done that. The geology is the same throughout the area, more or less. Having said that, there's a lot of local variations over just a few meters. So the fact that we see more sand boils in one area than another isn't anything unusual. It's now the hard part. This is really the easy part in some ways. The hard part is now interpreting everything.
We can see the soil profile from here. This upper layer of soil is not of a sandy nature and it's above the groundwater table and it's not going to liquefy. Yet this is all that this property has, this house had to sit on. Now that we've created these beams won't liquefy either, and with another row of beams underneath that won't liquefy either. We can see the softer soils here and between those beams, well, that stays nicely confined. But by adding in 2 rows of beams, we are now thickening up that crust so that in a future earthquake, any houses that have these beams put underneath them will have a much thicker crust of non-liquefying material, and not only a thicker crust, but also a much stronger crust compared to what they had.
Always mixed feelings about the fact that we are digging over and we're undertaking these trials in in areas that used to be people's homes and gardens, and I never forget. I mean, what we're doing here is immensely important and relevant to the rebuild of Canterbury and to restoring confidence to communities where the land is more vulnerable to liquefaction, but it is still viable to reinstate those communities and to rebuild community life in those areas.
Yeah, hopefully something will come out of it, so when they do in the future build residential places on this type of land, they are able to do it without too much of a problem.
I think that you are doing it right here in New Zealand. After many earthquakes, there's a lot of pressure to rebuild, and often people will rebuild really the same way they had it before. And I think the concept here is you're taking a measured amount of time to rebuild better, right? And I think that's makes a lot of sense, and I think that you're doing it right here in Christchurch.
And it's exciting to be part of a city that's going to develop into something really, really special. So, yeah.